Hello there, welcome to my YouTube video. In this video, you are going to learn some DAX functions like related and some iterator functions like Sumx, Averagex, Maxx, and Minx. Okay, so in my transactions table now, for example, I have three columns. I have product ID, quantity, and date. And in my products table, I have product ID, product name, and price. Okay, so what if I want to see price on this particular table here in my transaction table? If I were working in my normal Excel worksheet, I would want to use maybe V-Lookup or X-Lookup to achieve that. But in DAX, what can I use? I can simply use related function to bring a column in our table to this particular table. And then the parameter required for related is column name. What's the name of the column I'm trying to bring? That is price. Okay, I'll close the bracket and I would hit enter. And now I have the price here. I can put a name to that, add a name to that column. Let me call it price as well, right? So now I have brought a column here. Okay, so now I want to calculate total sales. Total sales column. Say that is quantity multiplied by price. And if you see it now, I have a total sales column, which is just multiplication of quantity by price. For example, here quantity was 2, here it is 250,000, and now total sales here is 500,000. Okay, so if I want to find total sales, sum of the total sales now, let me rename the column to sales. All right, so if I want to find total sales here now, let me call it measure. It will now be sum of sales column in transactions table. I want to use a fully qualified reference. I'll hit enter, and now I have total sales. That's the total of all the sales. Okay, so I was wondering, so what if I don't want to create a column? I think I should mention that anything you can use a measure to achieve in DAX, don't create a column for it, because when you create a column, it makes your model bulky. Okay, so what if, how can I make this happen without using an additional column? Okay, so let's do it. So what if I say that total sales is equal to sum, okay, let me just multiply then, right? What if I say it's equal to price multiplied by quantity, just like I did? Oh, now there is an error. Why do I have an error here? That is because I cannot create a measure the way I created a column. When I was creating a column, I can write this kind of formula and it was okay. Why? Because when we are creating a calculated column, it has, because there is row context. What is what I'm saying? Here I wrote sales column is equals to quantity column in transactions table multiplied by price column in transactions table, and there was no aggregation. I mean, what I mean by aggregation is that there's no summation, there's no max, there's no average, there's nothing. I just used the naked columns. I just multiplied two naked columns and I got my correct answers. That's because there's row context. In the case of a measure, there is no row context, so there has to be an aggregation. Okay, so what if I do it like this? Can I put sum here before price? Okay, also put sum here again, and I hit enter. Ooh. Now apparently this cannot be correct. What I suspect that DAX has done is that DAX has calculated the sum of the price, and calculated again sum of the quantity, calculated sum of price, and calculated sum of quantity, then multiplied it together to get this. That is not correct. That is apparently not what we are looking for. So how can we now do it? When we want to introduce row context into DAX calculation for an explicit measure, how can we make it happen without using column? So this is what we are going to do. I will delete this. Okay. I would say 2000 sales correct. So let me just give you this name just to differentiate it from the earlier calculation. I will say it's equals to Sumx. So that is where Sumx comes in. Sumx is an iterator function. It is used to calculate a measure, and it has the capacity to perform row by row computations before aggregation. So Sumx. What's the name of the table now? Name of the table is transaction. Okay, and then the expression that I want to perform is price in transactions table multiplied by quantity in transaction table. I'll close the bracket and I'll press enter. And if you notice now, it's correct. And I did not have to calculate this sales column first, then aggregating it here, just like we did here. So this one is an iterator function, that is Sumx. Okay. I can find average sales. That will be Averagex. Name of the table again is transaction, and just the same thing we wrote the other time, multiplied by quantity, all in a presenter, and that is my average sales. You know, I could have done this way, say av sales equals to average of total sales. That is it. Same thing, right? Yes. Good. Okay. So now you have seen how to use iterator functions, that is how to use Averagex and how to use Sumx. There are also other iterator functions like Countx, Maxx, Minx, Rankx, etc. They all work with the same principles with this Averagex and Sumx. Okay, so I was thinking, what are the other ways we can perform this task without using calculated columns? Okay, so I want to delete these two columns, this column right here and this column right here. And yes, I'll delete the sales column too. That was earlier calculated. Okay. So apparently these ones have brought errors now. So let's delete them. I'll delete this as well. So how can I do it? Now the sales is in another table. How will I do it? So I will use this formula right here. I'll say total sales is equal to Sumx. I need an iterator functions because I want to perform row operations before my aggregation. And the table is transaction. And then the expression is quantity in transaction table, right? Multiplied by price in product table. So I'll use related to bring it related price. I'll close brackets for related and I'll close brackets for transactions. And that is it. I can do the same thing for averages. I'll say that is equals to Averagex. Table again is transaction and the expression is quantity in transaction table multiplied by related price in product table. Press enter. And that is it. So these are the same answers we got earlier. So this way we have avoided creating an additional column in a table. That is, we have avoided redundancy in our data, and at the same time, we have achieved our goal without any obstruction. Please subscribe to this channel so that you can get notifications. Thank you very much.